So today in this video we'll be doing another planet. Last time we did Venus in 12 houses. Now we are approaching towards Jupiter in 12 houses. So let's see what the Jupiter. Let me put number 4 here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3. I just assumed the Lagna is number 4. So Jupiter, what is Jupiter? Jupiter is a big planet. Okay. Being big, Jupiter is spirituality. Jupiter is wisdom, knowledge, okay, religion, significator of marriage, okay, married life also, higher studies, respect. These kind of things are seen from the Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is also controlling your body mass. Body mass means the weight of your body, those ingredients which creates your body mass is controlled by Jupiter. So what happens when Jupiter comes into the first house? First house, as I told, is Lagna. Lagna is your own self, your personal personality, how you are, your body structure and everything, your general habits. So when Jupiter is present here, the person is religious, the person is spiritual, the person is knowledgeable. This person in certain age of life, when the Jupiter Dasha comes, or Jupiter Antardasha or Pratyantardasha, this person gains benefits because Jupiter is present in Lagna. If it is placed with some other planet also, then it adds to the qualities. Jupiter sitting by itself is considered as no good. If Jupiter is, though Jupiter is a good planet, but if Jupiter is sitting in a house by itself, the Jupiter destroys that house, or we can say the Jupiter is creating problems in that house. But if the Jupiter is aspecting the other house, it is boosting that house. Okay, it creates a boost. Jupiter is aspecting these 3 houses from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th position, 6th and 7th position, and 9th position. That was the aspect of Jupiter. 5, 7, and 9. So Jupiter, wherever sits, aspects at 5th, 7th, and 9th position from itself. Okay. The person will become, as I told you, spiritual. You can be a spiritual guru. Okay, the person can be a teacher, the person can be an astrologer, the person can be you can say a knowledgeable person like an officer also. But it again depends on the combinations of other planets with that. It might become a doctor also with the combination with the moon and Venus also. It can become a doctor. Say for example, in this case, Jupiter is present in the Lagna. Lagna is number 4 here. Number 4 means Cancer. When Jupiter is present in Cancer, the Jupiter is considered as exalted. So when the Jupiter is exalted, it gives the best results to the person. Okay, the person will has at par knowledge, will be able to gain a lot of spiritual knowledge, religious knowledge, God-fearing person, and he would like to eat sweet things like sweets. Okay, when the Jupiter moves in the second house, second house is the house of your family, your immediate family, your voice, your vocal cords, your bank balances. Jupiter is a natural significator of the second house. And also when Jupiter comes in here in the second house, it expands the qualities of second house, because Jupiter is wisdom, it's expansion. So it expands everything in this house, but it also destroys this house in other senses. Okay, always remember, if it is sitting by itself only. If say Moon is sitting with the Jupiter or Mars is sitting with Jupiter, then it will not do damage to this house, unless otherwise it will do better of this house, because then it is getting support from Mars and the other planet also, or it could be any other planet with the Jupiter. Okay, so this house is the immediate house, your immediate family. So this person will be considered as very famous, very popular in the family from knowledge point of view. Okay, he will be able to impress everybody in the family and will prove that he is one of the best knowledgeable persons in the whole family. All right, so he will gain a lot of money in the dasha of Jupiter, because this house is the house of bank balance, and Jupiter is a natural significator of second house or money issues. Come to the third house. Third house is the house of your courage, your dare, your friend circle, your neighborhood, your younger siblings. So Jupiter, when comes here, will give an expansion in the third house. Third house is also the house of journey, short journeys. So those short journeys will now expand. You will have more short journeys now. You will more travel for good. This house is the house of neighborhood and friend circle. So your friend circle will be big, and you will be famous in your friend circle as a knowledgeable person, as a spiritual person, or as a person who knows how to deal in the difficult situations. Okay, so people will like to talk to you in this case. All right, and dare, this person will have a spiritual and religious dare. He will be God fearing, so he will fear from God, and he will take the energy from the universe and will use as a universal energy through his body to prove that this is a third house property. Okay, again, it depends on the signs. I'm telling you again, it depends on all the signs, what kind of sign is in this house. If the sign is good, the Jupiter will be good. If the sign is bad, the Jupiter will be giving bad results. Simple. And also the Jupiter will give the results wherever it will aspect, and also the results of those houses which he owns. Now in this case, from here, if you see, Jupiter will aspect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Jupiter will aspect with the fifth aspect here in the seventh house, seventh aspect here, and the ninth aspect in the 11th house. So these three houses plus the house fourth house which in the Jupiter is sitting, plus the ninth house, okay, and the sixth house also, because these houses has the Jupiter sign, Pisces and Sagittarius. That's why these houses also give the results of Jupiter when the Jupiter Dasha comes. So these houses also get activated. So this is the way how you predict a chart. Move on to the fourth house. Fourth house is the house of your house peace, your mother, your motherly relationship, nourishing behavior, your own property, your luxury and comfort in the life, your basic education. Jupiter is here, will give such a mother who will teach the ethics of the life, who will teach you the moral of the life through spirituality, through religion. She will try to apply those religion things on you, so that you can learn the culture of your family, that how you follow the religion. Also, this planet indicates here, if it is not sitting with any other planet, it might ruin the basic education. The child might have a hard time in the basic education in the beginning, but will improve afterwards. Okay, but if it is sitting with a good planet or any other good planet or good sign, it will boost the basic education, basic school education. Okay, Jupiter here also being Karaka of wisdom and expansion, will expand the luxury and comfort in the life of the person. Okay, come down to the fifth house. Fifth house is the house of love, fun, frolic, your kids, gambling, shares and debentures, and all that stuff is seen from this fifth house. It's the house of creativity. So when the Jupiter is here, remember, if it is by itself, it will create a problem in progeny. It will create a problem in the kids, because the Jupiter sitting itself creates a problem. So if you see a Jupiter sitting here by itself, first thing you can say, you might have a problem with the babies. You might have a problem with the kids or the first baby, because this is a house of first baby also. So if it is a good planet sitting with Jupiter, then you can say, okay, you're gonna have a baby that will be healthy, depending on the what kind of planet sitting with it, what kind of sign it is. You can predict that what result will it produce by the time of the dasha. Come down to the sixth house. Sixth house is the house of um, everyday life problems, your struggle, your competition, your enemies, the people who work with you, your colleagues, okay, who try to compete with you every day, but they pretend like, hey, you are my friend, but actually they are your competitors. So this is the reality of the life, the sixth house. When the Jupiter is here in the sixth house, it expands this house. Can you imagine? It expands your competition, it expands your enemies, the circle of that enemies. But if the Jupiter is good placed, then it will produce good results by let you winning on these situations every time. Otherwise, you will always have a problem with backbiting. People will talk about you, people will try to pull you down. That's what happened here in the sixth house. Sixth house is also house of disease, your debts. So be careful with that too. Sixth house is a house of debts. If it is placed with the Mars, Jupiter, then Jupiter can take your debt off, okay, because it's a placed with the Mars. For example, if Mars was placed here, okay, when Mars is placed in the sixth house, it puts a debt on the person. But when the Jupiter is sitting with it, it will help to come out of the debts, because Jupiter is a natural significator of money and wealth. So it will give the person wealth to pay off the debts during its dasha. Okay. Otherwise, this planet is not working. If just the Mars dasha is going on and no Jupiter antar or no Jupiter pratyantar, then the person will get under the debt, too much debt. But when the Jupiter dasha will come, then he'll start paying it off. Seventh house is the house of partners, your family life, your married life, your marriage partner is the seventh house. So seventh house, when the Jupiter is dealing with the seventh house, would say that the husband or wife of the person will be more spiritual, will be healthier, will be more good, knowledgeable person. It could be a doctor, or could be a good person. So seventh house basically explains more about the marriage things. If the Jupiter is placed very well here, is good placed, then the person will get married in the right time, right age, and will be happy. But if the Jupiter is wrongly placed or weak in the chart, or it is aspected by a bad planet, or sitting with a bad planet, or bad conjunction, or bad sign, any of those, then it would delay in the marriage, or it might deny also in some cases if it is really debilitated. For example, in this house, this number 10 sign, 10 is Capricorn. If Jupiter is here, that means that Jupiter is debilitated. So when the Jupiter is debilitated, the person will definitely suffer in the married life. Okay, but this is fine. We can say that the person will suffer in the married life, but you gotta look into the D9 chart also. What is the position of Jupiter in the D9? If the Jupiter in the D9 chart is also present in the Capricorn sign, that means this person will face problems after marriage every time. But if it is in the better position in the D9, we would say that this person's relation will improve after getting married after some time. But you have to give some time to the spouse to come out of it. Okay.